Sometimes it pays to fish from the boat landing. Everyone always goes to the other side of the lake to fish. This will make good breakfast.
Good morning, folks. This weekend I'm going to be joined with Shorts and Nick the Animal Steel up at the cabin. Last weekend we put in the solar, and so this weekend, because I have help, I finally feel brave enough that we are going to go and start taking out some trees so that our solar can be a little bit more efficient. I've got a fire started in the cabin already, so hopefully the boys will wake up to a nice toasty cabin. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and get the chainsaw fired up and start falling some trees. So by the time they wake up, we can buck these into smaller pieces and either cut them up into firewood, or else we'll take the tops back into the woods and let nature let it decompose.
Than when it looks.
Oh yeah. right, folks, we did quite a bit of cutting. You can see all the trees that we've cut out of there. I didn't film many of them just because, you know, cutting trees is cutting trees. And here's our solar panels. So last week a new subscriber said, hey, it was pretty nice that you were able to put your solar panels up in shade. And I had to laugh. He was right. But you can see we cleared a whole bunch out. Now all that's left is a cleanup. And the tops of them, we started a fire this morning and we've actually burnt them all. They're pretty much down to ash. So yeah, we're pretty excited about that. Shorts, what do you have to say for yourself?
You did pretty good.
You'd think this jug had poor prostate or something. It doesn't taste very nice.
Need some
So we got Nick the Animal Steel with us.
Flomax.
And in Shorts. Shorts just got done cooking us some brat burgers. So we're going to go ahead and eat.
Oh, yeah.
Get rid of that competition.
All right. Ready?
A little bit more. That's a tree sugar.
All right, folks, so we went ahead and cleared out a bunch of trees for solar. And it's not like we have a tree shortage up here, but usually when we take something off the property, we like to kind of replenish what we have here. And this forest is almost all black cherry, a couple birch, and the majority of the trees are maple. And so what I'd like to do to help the habitat is we are going to start planting oak trees. Obviously they'll help bring in the deer. So we decided we're going to go ahead and plant oaks, and that's what we got here. Okay, folks, I'm pretty happy with the success that we had this weekend. It really helped out to have Nick and Matt with me. We've got a total of, what was it, Nick, about 4 trees cut up?
Something like that, yeah.
4 trees that we took out. I've got a few more that I want to take out. They don't have to go now, but they're young. And there's no sense in having them grow up in an area where they're going to shade, excuse me, where they're going to shade the solar. So we'll take those out on another day. But this was a weekend of, you know, we didn't have much, you know, time for fun and shenanigans. You know, we were just pretty much working on the cabin and getting those trees down. But it was a huge help to have my 2 boys with me, because there would have been no way that I could have got that myself. That was Steve the Spider crawling on my sweatshirt, so I got rid of him. But let's go inside and I'll quick show you what we all got done inside. So when we got up here, the lights were still on. We were in such a rush to get home last week with the storms that were rolling in that I thought my wife had turned the lights off. She thought that I had turned the lights off, but it didn't happen. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we've had a new addition to the cabin, and it's right there. We went ahead and got a TV, and we pretty much only use it on rainy days, or that's when we plan on using it, is rainy days or when we need weather reports or whatever. But yeah, it worked out pretty decent. I do have a DVR that we connected because we're old timers and we still have DVDs laying around. But that worked nice. And you know, even with the lights being on all weekend and the use of the TV, it rained like a son of a gun earlier today, and we had to quit cutting trees just because it was way too wet and the rain was coming down too hard. I don't know if you can tell, we're soaking wet right now. But yeah, the solar, I'm pretty pleased with it. It did everything that we expected it to do. It held a really good charge when we were watching TV, and it's been cloudy all weekend for the most part, and we had no problems with using up the power on a battery bank. So I'm sure we have more than enough power that we need. So yeah, everything worked out pretty decent. So I'm thrilled with the investment, and so far so good. I'd recommend to anybody who's looking at getting a new solar setup or something that'll power your cabin. This is a perfect off-grid setup. And if you missed last week's video, check it out. I think I titled it LV2424. Look on my video list and you'll see it there. So had a great weekend of work this weekend. We actually cast from the shore a little bit and tried to get out on the boat, but the rain was just too much. And I went out in the morning, caught a couple walleyes, and they were great for breakfast. I was going to show that, but the video's getting too long. But maybe we'll do a catch and a cook video here coming up soon if the fish keep biting the way they are. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for joining us this week on Carl's Off the Grid. We are going to get outside and clean up before everything starts to rust up from the rain. We appreciate your continued support, and we'll catch you next time on Carl's Off the Grid.